Welcome, guys, to the RIM podcast. My name is Ziggy. I'm a host. This is whether you are a lawyer, doctor, politician, CEO, or somebody who influenced the community to care and share. When it comes to the community, to care and share again. So that way we have today two special great guests from Tiago company. And took me 2 months to get you guys on the show. But finally you made it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know you're coming from Tampa to Orlando. It's 2.5 hours driving. So we have an owner of the company. He's also an attorney, Mike Zara, and a business development manager, Sarah Caviggia.
Correct.
Welcome, guys, to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. My first question for you as a business development manager, and I own a huge social media with 10,000 realtors. If I'm a realtor, first of all, how did you become a title lady? You call yourself title lady. I love that brand. How did you came up with such a fascinating marketing strategy, title lady?
Well, I started off about 10 years ago in a foreclosure law firm. So I handled all the files from data default to sales and eviction, reviewed all the title documents, and after doing that for quite some time, I wanted to get out and help people more.
Nice.
And since it was just second nature to me with real estate and handling of the files, it's just a passion of mine. So
Good.
I've decided.
So now the main reason you do the title, because you cannot sell a house unless the title is clear, correct?
That's true.
Nice. So my other point, you guys have like 6 offices in 6 states, right?
Correct.
And you deal with more than 30 states. You can handle business more than 30 states.
That's correct.
But how many offices do you have like in the permanent offices in all 6 states? Like 15, 20 offices?
I think we have like 16 offices right now.
Great, great. And one of my pleasure, first of all, by the way, you're my first attorney on the show. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I love to interview you because we have a lot of problems with the real estate.
Right.
Owning the group and social media, anything I'm seeing from the real estate, what is the deed and what is the title? Can you clear with that, since you can legally clear that out? Can you, including myself and real estate, can you a little bit elaborate on that?
Sure. So essentially, everything transpires through deeds. Deeds are called transfer deeds. And so if I was to sell my house to you, I would give you a transfer deed, which could be a special warranty deed, a general warranty deed, also known as sometimes a quitclaim deed. And what goes through is essentially my transfer and conveyance to you. Now, a deed is part of what, as you alluded to, was the title.
Okay.
The title essentially is the history.
Oh,
And so
okay.
what you want to look through is the title is almost as, it's like a person.
Okay.
We all have our own histories. Well, properties have a history to tell as well.
Oh, wow.
And that's what we do as a title insurance professional is we sell to people and explain the history of the house, which is what you or I might own.
Great, great. So real estate people, from now on, you know what is the difference between the deed and title. So now on the Facebook, if you have any questions, call Tiago. My second question is to Sarah. Sarah, you know you are handling the Florida and other states as well.
Correct.
But majority of your business in Florida, that's where you are based on the Tampa, right? Both
Right.
of you based on Tampa.
Yes.
Right.
My question, how available you are to the real estate people? If I'm a real estate and I got a client handling the business, buying the purchase, how available you are? Do you respond right away? It's the most important thing for real estate. Let's say I'm last minute, I need to do something. A lot of title people are now available, and I know you for quite a few times. You're really available. Can you a little bit explain within our audience what can you do for them, what other title company cannot?
Yes. So I do a lot of my communication by my phone. And sometimes I'll have my laptop, but when it comes to questions like realtors, they work on the weekends. They're
do.
talking to their buyers and their sellers in the evenings. So it's very important to be able to have that open line of communication,
Right.
whether it's text, call, just having that open line
Nice.
and being able to explain things to them or their clients when they don't understand the specifics on title or what's happened with an HOA or a CDD. And
Good.
so we get lots of different questions, and I'd like to pride myself and say I'm normally available.
Good. And I guys been knowing Sarah for quite a few time. All of my business I refer to her. She's a great lady. but I wanted that comes out from her, not from me.
I actually just thought of a really good example as to what you did for your customers just this past week.
Please share that with us.
So it was after hours, and one of her buyers or sellers, unfortunately, say somebody in the transaction passed away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so Sarah took the call or the text message
Nice.
after hours, and she got with me to be able to determine if they still have a valid binding contract or not.
Nice.
So that's kind of something that she should be able to toot her own horn on. Is the fact is she's available after hours, and that's where most deals are made or fall apart.
Nice.
And at the end of the day, she cares about the realtor's commission just as much as the realtor might, to be able to assure that we get things to the closing table, obviously for the monetary side of it, but
Right.
also for the actual clients.
Great. I got a goosebump.
Did you?
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
it's
you.
great.
You're
It's,
such a-
it's amazing to have an owner that will respond at 11:30.
Good.
You know,
that's,
at
that's
night,
what we like to
answer
have
some
him
legal
on the
questions,
show.
too.
And I know there's a lot of title company, they are an attorney, but they are not available after a certain time. So real estate people, he's available 24/7. I can say that.
I try.
It's all about business. And you do start traveling a lot, right, between the states.
Yeah.
And how you handle that? I mean, traveling all over the place, and how you handling that? The part of the communication, or you relying on your team as well?
So I tell everybody that the company is about we and not me.
Okay.
And
Love
so
it.
even though I might own the company, it's our team members that truly make us shine. And what has allowed for us to grow so much in the 11 years that I've owned the company is I'm a man with a vision, but the people are the ones that execute on the vision
Nice.
and allow for us to get where we need to be. People
Nice.
like Sarah, who go out and profess what we do and what we try to do. And if we don't do something right, admit to it and fix it and continue on.
Great.
One of the things that I've done with the traveling is during COVID, it's been a little less.
Yes, it is.
But even prior to, I would always be at every office as much as I could on a monthly basis, just to be able to instill the vision and what we're continuing to try to put forward with the actual company. But being in different territories and markets, you just kind of get used to it after a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
And, it's like the biggest thing that, and it sounds funny, but I always reset my watch wherever I go. It's just
Nice.
because, as if you're in Mountain Time or Pacific,
Yeah, oh, wow.
wherever it might be, or even Eastern, is you just have to focus your day based on the hours that you're actually provided on that circumstance.
That's the main
That's a good
reason I
point.
ask you, because you have a different time set.
Yeah.
And you give me a great answer. And the real estate people, you should listen to that. There's a lot of real estate attorneys for title company. They don't know how to set their watch. This guy does.
Well,
Can't always rely on iPhone and Android. You have to have.
correct.
You have to. You have to. Now I got a second question. Like most important thing for a lot of real estate. If I'm in a real estate, if I'm a buyer, I'm afraid when it comes down to an attorneys, because everybody promote experience. It matters everything. I say a couple times on the shows, you can buy everything, by experience you cannot. You gotta go through. So my first question: how much experience does your title insurance attorney have? And now you are the owner. You told me you've been owning company for 11 years, but you've been in the business for 15 years.
Correct.
My question: when you talk to the realtors, look in the camera and say, "Wow, I'm an attorney for 11 years. I'm different than they are." So now you got your 30 seconds. Tell them that why the experience most important when it comes down to the title and buying houses. Because fixing that things with the counties, it's a nightmare.
Right. So one of the things that we try to be different, and myself as an attorney try to be different, is we're sympathetic to the actual transaction at actual hand. We don't look at anybody as a specific number. We look at each transaction as if it were our own. And that's one of the things that we do with all of our employees, is because we all can be numb by the amount of volume that we all do, and it just becomes, oh, this is just another closing. Well, to the consumer and to the realtor, this isn't just another closing, it matters. And so that's why we try to be able to send welcome letters in the very beginning, to be able
Very
to show
nice.
them, for people to reach out via phone, to be able to assure that we're in procedural performance for wire instructions, to make sure that wire fraud doesn't occur. When we're actually going through the title commitment, being able to assure that they understand what they're getting. Is our title company, compared to others, actually has internal title officers that review the title before it goes out to folks, to be able to assure that the information that's being brought into the company is accurate and specific.
Nice.
And also, our closers always try to be able to do business the way that a specific client, as in the consumer or the realtor, might want us to be able to be doing business compared to just being a number. Because a lot of realtors and consumers just become numbers.
Yes.
And we tell all of our folks that you're not order takers. You're in customer service.
Correct.
The goal is for people to have a great experience, because at the end of the day, as you mentioned before, it's promulgated rates here. By
Yes.
promulgated rates is everyone charges exactly the same for title insurance.
Correct.
No one can charge more, charge less. It's promulgated by the actual state of Florida. And so one of the things that we try to do is exceed expectations in terms of the actual experience. Because the experience matters. It's whether if you order a pizza, you order a sub, you go to a bar, you go to a fancy restaurant, everybody wants that experience.
Correct.
They want to be able to say, wow, I really enjoyed that. And when people buy or sell a house, they might do that maybe once in their lifetime.
Correct.
And I've always tried to take it in my mindset, and anyone that we hire, is that they appreciate that. And,
Nice.
you know, I still do most of the initial interviews for the company.
Good.
Because I want
That's
people
good.
that before we pass them on, you know, at least pass the smell test to me to be able to say
Correct.
that they have what I feel is something that was going to add value to the customers and to our client base, but also to our team.
Correct. Thank you. That's a great answer. That's a great
Very good.
answer. And Sarah, I know you do a lot of shows, a lot of events,
Mm-hmm.
and you do collaborate with the Mike on daily basis.
Right.
As a professional relationship between two of you, when it comes me as a realtor, can you elaborate a little bit more on like if I'm a realtor? I don't want to say why should I do business with you, but basically that's what it is. Every
Right.
realtor, why should we take that company comparing to any other company? It's not just because you guys on my show, I give the platform to everybody. I just want to be fair to everybody. You've been putting an enormous amount of events in Orlando, and there's a huge turnaround. How you do
Well,
that?
before COVID.
I like that.
Before COVID.
Before COVID, correct.
Right, because there's people, they buy everywhere. You know, there's Orlando, Tampa, St. Pete, over the bridge, we say. So focusing on just one or two zip codes doesn't really make sense.
Makes sense.
I believe I add value because I do have that open dialogue of communication.
Okay.
With my past experience in legal documents, I have a pretty good understanding of
Language.
the language, and if I don't, Mike here always responds within minutes, whether you're in whatever time zone.
So it seems like you are guys transition. He's a transitional leader. It means some all leaders, CBM, IBM, whatever this big company, they are not transitional. They're still who they are before 50 years ago. So congratulations on being transitional leader.
right.
So you transition with the market, which is the most important thing. Now I got another question, which is a lot of our audience, a lot of customers will ask. What is one of the most challenging thing when I want to buy a home, besides looking at a realtor? To qualify experience, not qualify experience, that's not really matter. It's matter, but I want to hang it out a little bit more on the title side. How you guys handling all of the situation when it comes down? You get to the point and there's like something like you said a couple minutes ago, last minute. But let's say, like me and you talked about a couple minutes ago, a lot of times there's a lot of renters. And I want to answer you and you as well. And then homestead exemptions never been properly changed. And then after a few years, they've been hit, triple, quadruple on taxes. Can you elaborate what the agent should do and look for, it was now renting and now I'm buying and the homestead exemption never been changed?
Sure. You want me to go first, or? Sure.
Saw you, good.
Yeah. So essentially is if you have a first-time home buyer
Okay.
and they're going from renting to buying,
Okay.
obviously there's challenges based on just how hot the market is in terms of actually finding inventory and be able to be qualified.
And that's the problem right now.
And that's kind of the part of the problem is like, you know, is you're dealing with that hurdle.
Yeah.
But I think the most important part is kind of when you're dealing with a realtor and you're dealing with a lender is choosing the professionals that make you feel comfortable, because this is
Right.
probably the largest purchase that you're going to make
Correct.
in your lifetime.
Correct.
And so when in terms of the realtor and the lender, it's somebody that you can relate to, somebody that understands what is your need, but also your family's need to be able to find an actual home.
Right.
And I would say do your own research, because everything is online, that you can go to any of these larger big box websites to kind of search for homes, so that you can also give your realtor an example of what you're looking for. However, on the lender side is you get pre-qualified so that you know what you actually can qualify for, so that you're not looking for something that's outside of your actual budget.
Okay.
But finding a lender that understands your circumstances financially and that can get you to that finish line,
Nice.
so that you're not left being excited, and then being let down. Because, like I say about title agents, we're all not created equally, and neither are realtors or lenders,
No.
or
We're all different.
podcasts.
We're human beings.
Yeah, exactly.
Podcasts are all different too.
Exactly. Everyone's
Yeah.
different, and everyone adds value in their own way. And so one of the things that we kind of hung our hat on for the company is when I first started this company, I used to give free real estate advice to folks,
Nice.
for the realtors, to their clients, and said, hey, even if I don't have this transaction, if your client doesn't understand how to read a title commitment, I'm happy to help them with the documents so they understand it, free of charge. And that's one of the things you do to get your name out there,
Yes.
to be able to assist people, is you have to add value.
Build a brand.
You have to build your brand.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things is we were known as kind of the go-to company
Good.
to help people, but also we're still known in certain markets as to when there's a complicated file, if Mike can't do it, it's probably because there's fraud. Outside of fraud,
Good,
I
good.
can't
That's
fix
good
it.
to know.
That is true.
But
That's
most
good
other
to
items,
know.
I can figure it out. Is like some of the offices, have a funny nickname for me. They call me Magic Mike because I come up with
Magic
concepts
Mike.
to get files done.
So call the Magic Mike.
To be able to get
That's your
things
brand.
done. That's my brand,
Good.
but we get things done correctly.
Yeah,
is
that's
we don't cut corners, is we come up with concepts and items that other people do, because again, not all title companies are created equally.
Yes.
Is when someone has a complicated file, I literally go through the file for them.
Nice.
No, most owners of companies don't
No,
do
they
that.
don't. They don't.
It's like they're too far removed from their brand, and I try to be in the brand.
Yeah.
For example, on the way down here this morning, I was on a workflow call with one of our offices because I like to do those things. I want to make sure that we are where we're supposed to be.
Yes.
And if we're not, that we get aligned.
Yes. And the other problem with a lot of leaders, once they become in the management, top executive management, that's exactly what you do. They lost the touch what's on the field. And then later on, Sarah is all the time on the field. I'm like, wow, I tried to reach, but the owner of the company, a lot of times, they are at the bigger level, looking at the bigger picture. Every market is different for sure, and they do lose that kind of touch, love. And like I said, you have to touch the file because
And
that's
laws
who you are.
change all the time,
It
raised
does.
constantly.
It does.
So whenever I have a question, even though I know it was correct last year, I'll always just send them a text or call them, hey, has this changed, before I let my client know?
Good,
Because
good.
things just change. And to kind of go off what Mike was saying, lending is a very big important aspect of the whole process as well, because they are not created equal either.
No, they're not.
Some of them are direct lending, some of them are brokers. So in the business, it's good to have your name out there where you've worked with many different
Good.
companies and individuals, and you can really find out who's solid.
And the beautiful thing, being a human being, we all have different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But the facts are different. And maybe the one fact, but 100 different opinions. So my last questions is based who you are, what do you do? That's last always question. My last podcast, if you've been watching, like something that comes out of your heart that you can share with the real estate, with the buyers, with the owners. And instead of asking you questions, you ask yourself at the same time you answer. So if there isn't a question, as a developer or the business developer, you want to bring something value to the real estate people, and you say, this is what I will do for you. This is the reason I'm here today. This is the reason I chose to be a title girl. That's a good, cool,
Title gal.
cool, good,
You're good.
brand. So share something with them without I'm asking you a question. Ask yourself question, answer your question, so on. The same thing for you. So that way you can share as an attorney, as a real estate and a title attorney, what can you do for them?
Sure.
Instead, they can do for you.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
one of the things that I've tried to personally do over the last 15, 16 years is truly take passion for every transaction that comes through our offices.
Great.
And be able to assure whether it's a perfect transaction or whether it's a complicated transaction, give it the attention and detail to assure at the end of the day is that if you're buying an insurance policy from my company, that you're getting what you receive.
Good.
And to assure that we meet the standards of what we stand behind. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on is the fact that we don't leave people high and dry. Is people have questions even after the closing and even after we've made our commission, we continue to answer and provide documentation for them. Or if they forgot something for filing their taxes, we we'll continually assist them to be able to assure that they get what they want, because we want them, again, to go back to having a great experience.
Good, good.
And I try to make sure that every realtor or every consumer that comes through the doors has that experience, and that they have the passion for what we do. And that's what I had mentioned is why I continually still do all the
Good,
initial
good. I
interviews,
love
is
that.
because I want people that are coming in the door for you, the realtor, or for you, the consumer, to have passion for your deals, and not to consider that you're falling into somewhere like a call center where you're just another number.
Good, good.
We want people to have passion, and I think that's what separates us, is the fact that we care about each file, and we love what we do. And people who work for me love what they do, and if they don't, it's really not a fit, and they don't last very
Yeah,
long,
good.
because
No, they
we
don't.
ask for them to leave, because we want people that actually want to love title insurance. And I know it's a funny thing to say, but love what you do.
That's it.
If not, you need to leave, because we don't believe that you should just be here for a check.
Yeah, do what you love what you do, and do more what you promise.
Correct.
Another point, any realtors, I highly suggest, I'll give all of the information at the end of the show to how to reaching you
Yeah.
and how to reach her. So it's on you now.
On me
You are a
now.
marketing, you are a developer, you want to
So,
grow.
As the management for customer development and bringing in new brokers or realtors, one thing that I do offer is I have a lot of connections with lenders, surveyors, inspectors, and I've worked with a lot of individuals. I know which ones are super honest and which ones can, just aren't as.
Am I super honest?
You've been honest. You've been honest.
I've been honest.
And I do answer my phone. I answer my phone, and if I don't have an answer, I'm honest. I check with the owner. Our relationship with our staff is phenomenal. If I can't, if I have a question about a file, all of my processors, they immediately either answer their personal cell phone or they're answering emails.
Right.
So we always have answers. And when you have that disconnect at a title company, it's just that's where a lot of things
Yeah.
can go wrong.
Because like I said, I just want to, before we closing, like when if you are a buyer, I'm on by myself. And I'm going against another side, against the realtors, against the title company, against the banking. They all work together. I don't know, none of them. So I'm putting in a buyer on one side. So great thing for you guys. You're a title. You, like you mentioned, it's a great customer service on demand. I'm like, many people will just close transaction and they will get back again. You guys stay, and it seems like your office have a beautiful vibe inside. You work all with each other, which is the most important thing. You gotta work as a team to be a champion, or otherwise you cannot.
Right.
So guys, thank you so much. This is the RIM podcast. We got two great guests from Tiago company, Mike Zara, the owner, and the business development manager, Sarah Caviggia. Thank you so much for being my guest again. We'll do this again.
Thank you.
And if you want to leave your cell phone numbers, we'll do that, professional numbers, whatever informations, I'm going to put you everywhere. That's the most
Okay.
important thing. So I have no problem clients finding you.
Nope. My cell is 813-610-9986, and I'm sure Igor will also post that, but I am available. Any questions, and if I don't have the answers, I will find them for you.
And she's the lady. If you have a title, you got to go to her.
Yes. and
He's an
thank you.
attorney. Any legal questions, you got to go to him.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much again for
Thank
being
you as
my
well.
guest. God
you.
bless you.